Phew. Neat. Hello everyone, my name is Emily, and this haunted house took 3 weeks, kicked my ass, made me its bitch, and then sent me into a downward spiral of self-doubt. Hooray! This was actually supposed to be the easy breezy beautiful cover girl second art piece in my Halloween artathon that I was doing in October, but instead, like I said, it kicked my ass and ruined my life 5 ever. I'm kidding, but I talk a lot on this channel about how to navigate times in your art journey where you have little to no motivation or when an art piece just isn't coming out right. But I haven't really talked about it in relation to my life now and my own art journey, mostly because I haven't really hit a hard art speed bump in quite some time. Well, here we are. This is that time. I want to talk to you guys about what the tap dancing Satan in hell happened with this damn haunted house that f***ed me. Oh, speaking of f***ing things, let's hear a word from today's sexy sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Bellesa. Bellesa is a sexual wellness company run by women, for women, and for everyone else too. Bellesa's mission is to empower everyone to embrace, explore, and celebrate their sexuality. I needed a way to let go of some of that built-up stress from constructing this adorable haunted house, and what better way to do that than to take some me time, if you know what I mean. Bellesa wants everyone to know that masturbation is part of self-care. It releases feel-good hormones like dopamine and oxytocin, as well as endorphins, the body's natural defense against stress and pain. Bellesa's catalog of toys makes every experience sensationally unique. Bellesa makes it a point to be inclusive, and they make a wide range of toys for all preferences, genders, and sexualities. For this video, they sent me their Pebble Vibe. The Pebble is a petite little toy that offers varying levels of vibration as well as suction, so you can adjust the intensity for either setting to as strong or as subtle as you like. The Pebble is also waterproof, so you can take it along with you in the shower. It also comes with a cute little carrying case that also functions as a charging hub, so you can be as discreet as you'd like to be when traveling and when charging. Whether you've been naughty or nice this season, Bellesa and I have a special gift just for you. Everyone who signs up with my link in the description down below will either receive a free toy or a gift card. You can't beat deals like that anywhere else this holiday season because free is free, baby. Thank you, Bellesa, for sponsoring today's video. Let's get back to the art piece. Good Lord, where do I even start? When I had initially started this project, I had it scheduled out for 3 weeks, so basically a video out each week in October. There was the painting of the bird skull, which is my previous video, this haunted house, and then finally the making of a decorative Ouija board. The first video went perfectly according to schedule, and then the haunted house said, "F you, you're my bitch now, I will injure you and enjoy every agonizing moment." I bought the pre-constructed birdhouse at Michael's craft store, brought it home and sanded it down a bit more, and just generally drew out a rough plan for what I wanted to do with it, what I wanted it to look like. Along the way of the actual construction, I broke tools, spilled paint and paint water all over myself and my carpet, and most infuriatingly of all, I burned myself very badly 3 different times. I was also really sick at one point while constructing this, and I was just generally so overloaded with emotions that my cup runneth over, and I just broke down into a sobbing pile of mush at one point while the haunted house just watched me and laughed at my despair and drank in my tears like they were a finely aged Napa Valley wine. Oh, is this a 79 Malbec? Delish. 79 was such a good year for Malbecs. Shuck my haunted house balls. That was my impression of the haunted house being a snobby wine connoisseur, and I won't do that again, I promise. This was also one of those projects that actually brought me like 0 satisfaction upon its initial completion. It was super cute, like nice to look at, but I was just so burnt out and disappointed in myself that by the time it was done, I just went right back into my hidey hole. This was absolutely a thanks, I hate it moment. Something that I've realized about myself, and maybe some of you can relate to this, but I feel very exposed when I post a YouTube video, more than I do on any other type of social media platform. Maybe it's because y'all can actually hear me talking, or maybe because sometimes you guys can see my face, or my hands, I guess, or whatever. But YouTube is a lot more personal feeling to me than something like Twitter or Instagram. When I go into my hidey hole. I feel more comfortable doing Etsy drops or interacting with you guys on Instagram or Twitter because I feel less exposed, and therefore that interaction is less emotionally taxing. This is why I've started doing more and more on Etsy, because I feel the initial contact isn't overly personal, but then when I pack the orders, I can take extra care to make them more personal on my comfort level. This is especially important to me because of how overwhelmed with social media that I've become over the past few years. I'm still learning how to be online again, and I'm just trying to figure things out at my own pace. Unfortunately, this project got me really down on myself. Not necessarily the quality of work that I'm doing or what my work looks like, but more my ability to do the work correctly or in accordance with my wild expectations. I didn't want this haunted house to be basic. I wanted to pull out all the stops with all the bells and whistles. And I've done this to myself with other projects. And if they fall short of my expectations or if they're late, then I feel like a complete and total failure. I'm a perfectionist through and through, which means I like to have complete and total control over my projects. And when things go wrong, that's a form of losing control. And it's on me to understand that I can't have complete and total control over everything in my life because that's not realistic. And I had to do some serious soul searching after I finished this haunted house. Something I tell people a lot in my videos and when other artists come to me for advice about a quote failing project or piece unquote is that you need to let yourself feel those negative feelings a little bit. It's okay to be mad. It's okay to have a nice hard cry. It's okay to want to trash the piece or rip it up or whatever. Want is the key word there. Wanting to trash your art is totally different than actually doing it, and I'll get to that point in just a second. Those feelings are valid. They are normal. It is not wrong to feel those feelings because feelings can't be right or wrong. They exist whether you or anyone else likes it. So, first step was to allow myself to feel those shitty feelings, to cry, to vent. Sweet doggo Osa heard one little sob and came running down to my studio to comfort me. She is the best girl. No, she is not the best girl. She is best girl. So sweet. So smelly though. The next thing I recommend is to try your absolute best not to throw your art away. The exception, sort of, to this rule is for those of you that have intrusive thoughts that are triggered by visual stimuli. So if you see your, I don't want to call it a failed art piece, let's not call it that. Let's call it a turtle turd. Why? Because it sounds funny, and that's what I call art projects that don't turn out the way I want them to. I call them turtle turds. So if you see your turtle turd and it triggers those heavy, super negative emotions and thoughts and they just swirl around and bog you down, then maybe think about putting the piece away and out of sight, or maybe giving it to a trusted loved one to safeguard for potentially decades to come. I really, really, really don't want you guys throwing away your artwork, if at all possible. And if you've watched my video where I paint with human remains, yes, I just said that link in the sidebar, then you know why. Short synopsis, my grandma was an amazing artist, but was always very discouraged by her work. So one day when she was older, in a fit of self-doubt and despair, she threw away 98% of all her artwork. And even though she couldn't see it, everyone else thought her art was incredible. And we are all collectively heartbroken that we have almost none of it left now that she is gone. So if you absolutely need to throw the art away, I understand. But just remember, there may be someone in the future who would give anything to have that turtle turd that you're about to banish to the garbage realm. In my situation, there was no way on God's green, bountiful fucking earth that I was going to trash something that gave me so many second-degree burns. The blistering. No! I did end up displaying my haunted house in my studio for the duration of the autumn season, and then I retired it to the Halloween decoration tote from whence it came. Actually, it did not come from there. It came from Michael's craft store, like I said previously. And I did remind myself that now I have a cute little haunted house to put out every Halloween season, so that helped to push my mindset into a more positive direction. But honestly, a positive mindset about your turtle turd is not necessary. We just need to create some space and neutrality neutrality around the subject. Now that I was done with the haunted house, it was already past Halloween, and I felt like shit every time I sat down to edit the video for it. I recorded a few sound bites, but I just felt like the moment had passed. I was preoccupied with the Etsy drops I had been planning, in addition to my real person living in reality life that also exists, so getting involved with other things to help further create some space from the project is always very helpful. Deep down inside, we're all just giant babies and toddlers, and what works for teaching them how to deal with big feelings and new emotions usually works for us adults too. So basically what I mean is distraction is a beautiful thing, please use it. When I was able to create that space between myself and my turtle turd project, I was able to then look at it with some neutrality. Because I had been given time to process, I was able to do some really good self-talk, and that dialogue sounded a lot like this. Okay, Emily, the haunted house took too long, it made you mad, and you didn't do the thing. Your audience understands because they are wonderful gifts sent from biblically accurate eyeball angels, so stop worrying about that. They still want to see the haunted house, and that's good because you spent an inordinate amount of time on it, and you should be at least somewhat proud of how hard you worked. Oh, good time for a self-compliment. Your work ethic is good, and you should feel good about that. Ooh, and you're a passionate person, and you should feel good about that too. Okay, did my daily compliment. In fact, did two. Excellent, crushing it. So, recording videos relating to the process of the haunted house construction seems to bog you down. So, how can we change this? Oh, we can make the video about how the project failing made you feel and how you are navigating this artistic speed bump right now. And this self-talk dialogue can be a part of it so you can model healthy coping mechanisms and processes to your audience. That's it. There she blows, girl. Go get that white whale, bitch. Slay the house, Captain Ahab. And now here we are. That is actually how my internal dialogue sounds most of the time. I am not joking. Sometimes I wish I was, and I am sure none of you are surprised. I'd be lying if I said this whole getting over it process was a quick and easy one. It wasn't. It took time to let myself feel the negative feelings, to distract myself by putting my heart into other things, and then to finally reemerge on the other side to look at what I'd just gone through from a different perspective. And it will take time for you. And that's okay, because we all do things at our own pace. And you know, in the end, whether the haunted house would have come together or not, I ended up with some wisdom that I didn't have when I started this project. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to stay out of trouble. See you guys later.